Okay, so food science. We are supposed to be going through the movie Dirt. Dirt the movie. And there's a worksheet that goes along with it. And so we the other day. Oh, good for you. So I put out there questions 1 through 10. So now we're on number 11. So Los Angeles is mostly covered in concrete. What happens to the water that falls on the city? And I wanted to show you a video. Not that one. I think. Needs to be able to understand.
Los Angeles, California, and its surrounding county is the second most populous region in the United States, with nearly 10 million people. A population this large requires a lot of water, most of it transported from hundreds of miles away.
We depend on imported water from the Colorado River, from the Sierra, and from Northern California that runs through.
LA's water system was established in the early 1900s as a way of bringing water from the city.
We've done the first one. Yeah. So hold on.
When snow slowly melts,
when
moves down
the
mountains and eventually in this case, the Owens River. The Los Angeles Aqueduct then pumps some of this water, about 200 billion gallons a year, more than 400 miles away. The management of
out on Google Classroom. I'm recording all of this. I put the video. The video has all the answers.
Stephanie Pincel, researcher partly funded by the National Science Foundation, is director of the California Center for Sustainable.
So that's the whole unit.
A sustainable city needs to be able to understand or address water as a complete entity from supply and reuse.
Well, those are the old-fashioned ones.
Science. So the challenge going forward is how do we reconfigure how cities are run?
Adding to the problem is a growing population in Southern California and a reduced snowpack in the mountains that supplies the water due to warming temperatures. A slowly melting snowpack releases water throughout the summer, but warmer winters bring more rain than snow, causing rivers to run much drier by late summer, creating the potential for water shortages.
It actually depends on how much rainfall and snowpack there is. So this year, we will probably be importing more water from the Colorado River because the Sierra Nevada snowpack is going to be very light.
To become more sustainable, several local and regional organizations, such as the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, are devising methods to use something known as the urban water cycle, which seeks to capture, store, and reuse the water that already exists in the city.
The city of Los Angeles is trying to move towards a more urban water cycle where they're treating water all the same as one water, whether it's coming from rainwater, stormwater, or wastewater, or flood control, or recycled water.
Local groundwater, or water that is below the ground surface and is recharged by rain and runoff, can provide an additional source of water.
Right now in the city of Los Angeles, it's around 10 to 13% of local water supply.
New innovative projects are looking at how runoff can be better controlled and filtered rather than running directly into the sea. On Elmer Avenue in Sun Valley, water in the gutters is filtered through roadside bioswales or landscape drainage systems. In the parking lot at the LA Zoo in Griffith Park, Runoff is directed into the ground through permeous or porous pavement to eventually filter through soils and into nearby streams.
What they do is they capture the stormwater, hold it in the parking lot, helps to infiltrate into the ground, recharge the groundwater.
LA is also improving how it reuses its water. At the West Basin Water Recycling Facility, retreated wastewater is further purified to produce clean, usable water.
It's water that has been cleaned enough to go to the ocean, and we take it and then we refine it and make it into ultra pure water in many cases.
Sustainability also means conserving water, even rain and storm water, something that LA residents are already good at.
People are putting in rain
Wait, this
barrels,
is life
people are
skills,
putting in
right?
rain gardens,
No.
and so
This
forth.
is food
People are
science.
much more aware
But I gave you life skills work
of treating water
because
well.
you haven't been
Look,
around.
right here, I don't have food
While the
science.
issues around the management of water continue in
On my
California,
Google
by
Classroom,
building
I
an
don't have
urban
food
water
science.
cycle that uses and
Oh, did they take you out?
more
I think
efficiently,
so.
Los Angeles hopes to pave the way to a more sustainable future.
No, you're still in.
Oh yeah, I do got food science. Period 5, right?
Yeah. Okay. So, all right, let's go back here.
So, unit 6.
Where are you? Yeah. That's what we're on right now. We just started. This is Dirt the movie, and let me show you. Hold on. Wrong one. Here it is. Here. See. I gotta put it over. Gotta run 2 computers at once. See, there's a worksheet to fill out,
Yes, ma'am.
and in the video from Friday, which is
The 20-minute one?
this one,
Oh.
what is this? Maybe it's this one or this one. Oh no, it's not. This has answers. See this?
Uh-huh.
That's the first 7 answers
So
written
that will
out.
help me fill out this.
It won't help you. You have to go to life skills for that one.
Oh, this one's life skills.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna say this for now.
See, right.
And I'll do this right now.
All right. So I'm going through the answers. So we did 1 through 10. So that was about Los Angeles. Is mostly covered in concrete and pavement. All right. What happens to the water that falls on the city?
Wait, what question are you on?
11. We already did. Now we've done 1 through 10. So today we're going to talk about 11 down.
Okay.
But you can catch up anytime. So what I want to do over here, so I can record it. There it is. All right, so in Los Angeles, And I wanted to show you, and you've seen it before.
Why is it going mad fast?
No,
You saw that? Shit went through.
This morning, the Los Angeles River looks more like an empty ditch. Forecasters believe the El Nino conditions in the Pacific Ocean remain among the strongest on record. Much of that rain that has raised Southern California this winter will end up in the river. The 51-mile stretch goes all the way to Long Beach, where the water is simply lost to the sea. And Tracy shows us how that could change with a massive reinvention and a world-famous visionary.
The Terminator used it for a chase.
we've all seen the
In
river.
Greece, it was the scene of a race.
It looks like a dump, right?
Back in the 50s, the film Roadblock considered it a bit of a disgrace.
But that's where they get their water from.
Much of the LA River does look more like an oversized open-air sewer than a mighty waterway.
I think a lot of people didn't realize we had a river.
Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti says restoring the river is a top priority.
People settled here because this was a beautiful land. I want to return that in the midst of a great urban settlement.
The flood isolates studios and stars in this drama of destruction.
After record flooding in the 1930s, the Army Corps of Engineers locked most of the LA River in a concrete straitjacket, transforming it into a flood control channel that sent water out to sea. In a typical storm, it's estimated about half of the rainfall, some 10 billion gallons, is flushed into the ocean. But now, in the midst of a deepening drought, finding a way to retain that water is vital.
So this is the LA River.
In a move that created a bit of controversy, the city.
All right, so I just wanted you to know that is the answer. Number 11. Whenever it rains, it doesn't go in the soil because that city is almost 100% concrete. And it just goes in those huge concrete vents.
Is what?
Oh, wait a minute. So the next term that they're talking about is decertification, which is basically the loss of moisture, the ability to hold moisture in soil so that it blows away, which is the next movie we're going to watch, is about the Dust Bowl. You all know what the Dust Bowl is?
I think I heard of it.
We're going to watch about it. So let me, am I on the right thing? No. All right. Well, we'll just leave this up here. And let me show you this video. We don't need that anymore. It's this one.
Will in turn
So, desertification means degradation of land, vegetation, soil erosion, and the loss of topsoil and fertile land in arid, semi-arid, and dry subhuman areas, caused primarily by humans.
You don't got a sheet of paper?
I don't give paper normally. It's all on the computer. I'm recording it. So it's taking a picture of everything.
Living organisms.
Would it be up?
Feeds us.
Huh?
And we all depend
It
on
will be up as soon
Even
as we
though it
finish
covers
this
each other in a
class.
thin layer that is only a few dozen centimeters thick, it is the site of intense activity and home to an extremely rich ecosystem. Insects, worms, and the billions of bacteria that live in soil digest mineral, plant, and animal matter like a huge stomach. Then they convert this matter into the nutrients necessary for plant growth. These plants will in turn provide food for human beings and animals. But the fine layer around the Earth is delicate. In dry and arid environments, it is particularly vulnerable. It can take 500 years for 2.5 centimeters of soil to form, but only a few years to destroy it. This is called desertification. Contrary to popular perception, desertification refers to land degradation resulting from climatic variations and human activities. It is not a natural process. It is the result of mankind's actions. Today, a third of land is threatened by desertification. Over centuries, we have developed hyper-productive farming methods to feed billions of people. We have turned infertile deserts into lush green plains. But this type of farming might also damage soil and could rather turn fertile plains into deserts. Because in arid areas, water shortages affect the soil. The balance is fragile and soil is vulnerable. Mankind's actions could lead to its slow degradation. The use of chemical fertilizers weakens the living organisms responsible for soil fertility. Regular plowing dries out and compacts soil. Deforestation and overgrazing strip soil of the vegetation cover that protects it from erosion. Without branches protecting it and roots supporting it, soil dries out and is carried away by wind and rain. Poorly managed irrigation systems may also increase soil salinity and make it infertile.
Salinity is salt.
Climate change, also caused by mankind, worsens these problems. This is why land covering 12 million hectares, equivalent to Bulgaria, is lost every year. Desertification does not only affect Africa. It affects arid areas at all latitudes and on all continents. China, India, the United States, Australia, 13 countries in Europe. In all, 100.
Which, when I was a kid, I used to go to Lake Michigan to stay with my aunt and my uncle every summer. And next door to us were Warren Dunes, which, look like a big desert. And I just found out how they were created. Did you guys hear about the Chicago fire that burned Chicago down? Well, they came on Lake Michigan, and I guess right past where my aunt and uncle, they cut all the trees down to rebuild Chicago, and it desertified that area of Michigan. So now it's sand dunes. Interesting, huh? Anyway.
10 countries are affected by soil degradation. In fact, Desertification affects all mankind because soil exhaustion is reducing world food production. And as consumption and the population are on the increase,
Oh,
it
yeah.
becomes harder to feed billions of human beings. Every year, the equivalent of 20 million tons of cereal is lost through desertification. And yet, it is not irreversible. A possible solution is planting trees to anchor the soil, increase moisture levels, and slow down wind erosion, like in the north of China, where billions of trees have been planted to form another Great Wall. Africa has also started building its Great Green Wall, from Senegal to Djibouti. On a smaller scale, the construction of vegetation fences around crops also helps to anchor the soil. Another solution to preserve land is farming without plowing. Throughout the world, zero-tillage farming is already yielding abundant crops on 95 million hectares of land. Farmers are the main players in the fight against desertification. Subsistence and commercial farmers are at the heart of a new green revolution, which combines the yields of modern farming with the preservation of the environment, and especially soil. Because another form of agriculture is possible. It is based on simple, inexpensive techniques that are adapted to the poorest populations. This is known as agroecology. According to the United Nations, agroecology would make it possible to double world food production. Fighting desertification means preserving soil and feeding the planet.
Okay, so just gives you an idea. When you see the Dust Bowl.
That pulled so much.
What? Oh,
I hurt my back.
crack. It keeps your spine healthy too. So anyway, let's go back to the answers. So, when the soil's depleted, it is vulnerable. It is vulnerable to a whole bunch of, floods, storms, droughts, and without plants, they help anchor the soil. And so in the 1930s, we're going to see what happened is in Oklahoma, the soil got picked up by winds. They actually flew all the way to Georgia. The sky got blotted out with the soil.
No way.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So we're going to see it. All right. So, how do monocultures relate to the Dust Bowl? Well, number one, mono means one. What was happening is they were planting the same thing over and over and over and over. And what they learned from having the Dust Bowl, they call it the Dust Bowl, is you need to rotate your crops. You can't
have them in the same place.
Right. Corn because corn uses X, Y, and Z nutrients. Mm-hmm. Well, after 1 year, it's used up all the X, Y, and Z nutrients in the soil. So now you want to do soybeans because they do A, B, C. Mm-hmm. So you want to mix it up. Why does the use of pesticides become necessary? We're going to talk about. So all the plants are the same species. So if a pest is able to infest, it takes down everything. So that's another reason not to have just one thing. And nitrogen fertilizers can kill soil. They're just terrible. Eventually, instead of water from a rainstorm, percolating. Do you know the word percolating? So it means if you've seen when you pour water into a plant, it sort of bubbles for a few minutes.
And then it goes down.
And then it goes down. That's percolating. So what happens when the soil is depleted? It just runs straight off. It never percolates. Let's see, what is the cause of the unusually high rate of suicide in Indian farmers? I have heard this specifically. We are going to talk about Monsanto down the road. Monsanto sells most of the seeds now. But it's a,
So I have a question.
yeah.
So I'm not trying to be like getting off topic, but how would, let's say if like we were like planting, let's just use corn as an example. If I plant corn in the back of my house, I gotta move it. I can't just plant it there for the rest of it.
Right, you gotta move it.
I gotta move it.
Or, my neighbor, I grow corn. I changed the variety, the type up.
Oh.
But what my neighbor does is he goes out and spends a lot of money on new soil. He puts in new soil every year. I don't do that. Sometimes, though, I mulch, which means I let all the dead leaves and stuff. And so that will turn into soil. And I'll throw that on my garden. This year I got real lazy, though. I'm going to see. I'm getting so old to, bend over and I saw this rubber mat where they embed the seeds in it. I'm going to try it. That was my Christmas present to myself because the rubber mat will keep the weeds away. And
then doesn't your whatever you're growing grows out of it?
Yeah. Can't wait. I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
Because last year I added another section on too. So we'll see.
Like at home, I try like growing, like having a plant, but I can never keep it alive because I always forget to put water.
All right, but
if I keep putting water, I kind of put too much. So it's like hard for me to level.
It depends on the plant. But guess what? Next year, I'm already planning for next year. I want to teach horticulture, which is all about plants. And I think it's good for everybody. You might be interested in going into gardening or nurseries or landscaping. So we'll have lots of good stuff. But since we're going to be in another building.
Well, you guys are leaving?
Yeah, the lease is up. And who wants to stay in here?
Yeah. Oh man. Who wants to be here? New scenery. What happened?
All right, so wait a minute.